Steve would simply resize the assets, but today we're gonna learn about how that is going to be a mistake. We're taking one brief and adapting it across 5 different platforms in real time to see how attention and behavior truly change. And for this session, may I welcome to the stage to lead this hands-on session, same story, 5 screens, why platform-first thinking changes everything. Please welcome back our moderator, Mr. Rohit Datwal, CEO and BOD of MMA APAC, Global Head of Smarties MMA Asia Pacific, and our panelists, Ms. Ji Jung, Vice President Marketing CSD and Marketing Capability Lead, Suntory PepsiCo Vietnam Beverage, Mr. Alexander Reed, Director, Co-founder, Amplify Live Asia Pacific, Ms. Lu Hong An, CPG Industry Lead Google, and Mr. Indranil Guha, Co-founder and Strategic Planner of Key Saigon. Please welcome to the stage.
Okay, we've got the seating order sorted. So that's a good start. So I have a very esteemed panel talking about the importance of creativity in this platform world. We all know platforms, the different platforms, the different screens are driving the consumer behavior. And our objective today in this panel over the next 20-25 minutes is to identify why it is important to be platform specific, but yet have that story and the brand and the creativity behind it. Because media doesn't sell without the emotion and the connection with it. So with that, I'm going to introduce my panel. Actually, I'm going to let them introduce themselves and then we'll get started. Over to you.
My name's Alex. I'm the co-founder of Amplify, a creator agency, global agency. And I guess one fun fact, is that what you wanted, a fun fact of each of us? My dad doesn't know what I do for work and has told all his friends that I own TikTok.
Great.
All right, my name is Hong Wang and I'm the industry lead of CPG industry in Google. So prior to us going here, Amit has given us a challenge of sharing something about ourselves that is not on LinkedIn. So here we are today thinking about our personal story. So apart from being known as a marketer and a brand builder as well as a platform person, I'm also a mother of 2 sons. One of them is entering teenager period and is a heavy consumer of anything digital. So working in this industry kind of like give me a luxury of, speaking the same language with my son, connecting with him and talking about trends like Genji did. So that's what I really enjoyed about the job.
Great.
Hey guys, so I've been in Vietnam for 19 years, so I'm more Vietnamese than Indian. I come from a long line of filmmakers. My grandfather made films, my father made films, my sister makes films. I'm the only guy who got into advertising. So you'll see a lot coming from me on storytelling. That's something that was a dinner time conversation. So that's something, a fun fact about me, I guess you all didn't know.
Okay, so hello everyone. So my name is Ji, right? So actually I'm a very passionate martyr. From my kid describing me, so I think my older boy describe me as the hybrid mom. So what he mean hybrid mom is that he say he is half is a very playful mom, but also half is very tiger mom. So, yeah.
Great. So with that small talk, let's get into some serious business. And I'm going to open this up for the panel and anybody can take this question. Is platform the driver for engagement or is it more to that?
I can start with when it comes to, I guess, working out what you want the platform to do for you. I think it's really important to start with what do you want the outcome to be from your idea? What do you want the outcome for the audience to do? Do you want them to love something? Do you want them to buy something? Do Do you want them to share it? What do you want the outcome to do? And I think that should define how you approach the different platforms. If you want them to engage you have the opportunity to work with a creator, go for TikTok. If you want to increase engagement and you want people to feel included, use that platform. For Instagram, you use Instagram for more about aesthetics and awareness. I think it's about making sure you understand what you want the outcome to be and then use your platforms below that.
Yeah, I think platforms have made marketers and agencies lazy. I think what marketers and agencies are doing is taking the same 30-second and somehow rehashing it on platforms. So I think what platforms have done is just kind of create a lot of garbage. So we really need to kind of look at what's the brand story, really need to focus on that. And I think that's where a lot of work needs to go. Of course, the reaction that you want or kind of the response that you want on the platform. But I think platforms have really ruined the creative industry when it should be empowering the creative industry. I think that's been a big, big problem. And you can see it across campaigns. Even us, I think we are to be blamed as well. And that's something this forum should kind of be a start to change as we kind of go into it.
Chi?
So I think actually today we know that important a platform, right? Because that is the channels where the consumer is there. But actually when we starting any campaign or anything from our brand, we will start with the insights. Actually, we still want to understand what are the consumers that we want to crack. We want to understand their inspiration, their fears, their motivation. So in that, then we will talk to different partners on, okay, what are the big ideas and how it's natively land in different platform. But if we're starting by platform, we want to do engagement only, I think it's not easy. And then actually it will be the same for every brand. Yeah.
So as a person coming from platform, I think I'm quite, on the same page with all of the speakers right here. So to me, platform would come with, alongside together with intent. So each of the person, each of their audiences is going to go to a different platform with a totally different intent. Like me, 7 p.m. after work, I go to connected TV, smart TV, together enjoying, a TV shows together with my family. That is how I'm going to behave different. And the mentality is there also very different from when I was like consuming digital along on the mobile devices. So platform can act more than just, a hub for engagement. It spans across different stages of consumer behavior and consumer mindset. It's just, we need to find a way to kind of like trying to find the right breaking point of each of platform and how the consumers and audience is going to behave across different platform at different moments and try to fit our story into this rather than, resizing the story based on the screen side.
It's interesting. All four people have different points, but the same message that you need to work towards the solution that the consumer is wanting. And if you've not noticed so far, we have the brand, the creative agency, the platform, and the content creator. It's a complete industry sitting here giving their perspective. And it's interesting to hear those perspectives because as Neil rightly said, that maybe platforms have made others lazy and the insights are not being looked at, etc. But what's also very important is to see it from a consumer perspective. And I think Chi said it right when she said, you have to have that insight and build the idea on that insight. So my next question to take that forward is insight and strategy enough to outline the platform needs? Or do we need to do something more?
So maybe I start in first. Yeah. So I think, of course, if we coming up with a very strong understanding from consumers, strong insight, then it's just already, it's very touched to the success. But actually, it's not enough, right? Because like when we compare to the traditional way, when I'm just the market is like 20 years ago, it's kind of like, okay, just the insights, one hero asset, and then we air across the platform. But then today, I think with that formulas, it's not working, right? Like Alex is mentioning, the consumer behavior different in every platform. So it doesn't mean like we just need the insight, but we need to know how to make that insight translate into the storytelling, meeting to where the consumers are in different platform. For example, like I'm taking the example where we have the brand 7 Up. The creative idea is super duper refreshment, but the way we telling that inside the story in different platform is very different. Like in TikTok, it's very fast, right? But people is more on the trend. So we will talking about story about travel with refreshing with 7 Up. But then in the other platform, for example, like Facebook, it's about 5 or 6 second contextual ad. Or, in even like our poem, it's just about grading by, the celebrity, very strong visuals. So it's very different. It's not just like one size fit all with that insights and then apply everything, just a shorter version. Yeah.
I think what generally also happens is that there has to be discipline and respect to the process. So the insight and say the brand story, if it's decided, right, and it's usually decided in a bigger forum, there's more people, and then it starts going into smaller teams. And that's where I think campaigns kind of go wrong because it starts getting diluted. So maybe Chi and me will be in the room, we'll decide on the insight, we'll decide kind of on the creative idea, but then it will start going into marketing managers, brand managers, perhaps account managers, the junior creative people, and that's where it starts getting diluted. Now, I'm not blaming them for diluting it. I think they are not empowered enough to kind of understand that they are not just there to kind of get the KPI going. They are there to tell a compelling story, an interesting story to people. You can get someone on TikTok to spend 5 minutes on your content if you have good content. If you tell them something that makes them stop and see that content. But if you look at any content that is out there, there is no reason for people to stop and kind of see that. So people are trying to chase trends, people are trying to chase behavior, but people are not chasing a compelling story they want to tell. If you look at any filmmaking, you have to first think of the script, you have to then think of the story, and then you write the screenplay. You don't first write the screenplay. And if you see right now what happens is people work backwards, that this is TikTok, I need to make something short, I need to make something catchy, so this is what I'm going to do. And I think that's what's creating a lot of garbage out there, and you can see that in how people react with this content.
To put it really simply for me, no one opens their phone and goes on any social media platform to look at ads. So I think if you're not thinking that way, what are you doing? People aren't going on a platform to look at your ad. They're going on there to be entertained, and they're going on the platform to get personalized stories to them. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about your creative. How are you telling a story to the user? Everything is personalized. Everyone's algorithm is different because it's serving them content that's based on them and what they care about. And they're going on there to see stories. They're going on there for entertainment. So if you're not showing up with those two things in mind, you are wasting your money.
So as a representative coming from platform, I would say that insight and strategy, of course, plays a very important role, around 80% of their success. But in today's evolving digital media landscape, one of the things that I would like all the marketing managers and brand manager and also media people to also take into consideration is the comprehensions of the platform. Like you have to really understand the science behind the platform. Like you said, the algorithm, how it works, what's going to make the thumb of the audience stop, what kind of visual, what kind of audio, how's the attention span. That's going to be different, across different platform. That is going to be very helpful when you try to build your next campaign strategy. So insights and strategy is going to play as a foundation, and the comprehension of the platform is going to be the technique for you to build a, sustainable campaign along the way.
So you need to focus on a thumb stopping strategy. Basically, that's the message. But I want to build on what you said in the Neil and Chi is trends. People look at trends and they want to create trends. Is it actually possible to create trend-based advertising, viral advertising? If yes, how? And what does viral really mean?
I think it's not possible to do that if you're a brand, because by the time you get onto a trend, the trend's already gone. I think you have to kind of do something which will become a trend. And I think you have to start by not wanting to go viral. You have to tell a story to people which will move them. you have to see a piece of creative that you are creating, and does it move you? A lot of the creatives that we create doesn't move us, and we want people to somehow get kind of affected by it. So I think a lot of kind of thing has to be, I don't want to create something viral. I want to tell a compelling story. And does this story move us as the creators of this brand? I think that's where a lot of kind of gap is, that the stories itself are not compelling us. Why would it compel someone who's watching it? And Alex is completely right that there is no reason for people to kind of, people don't go on in the morning on TikTok to kind of see an ad. And it is a wonderful thing that we can now create communication which cannot, should not be ads. But we are still creating ads. Marketers are, of course, greedy. Agencies are pussy, so they just do whatever to make money. Platform just wants to sell, so that's what happens, and creators just want their kind of money. So it's a big problem that's happening across brands. And I guess we have to kind of stop to create good work. I think that's the whole idea.
And I think actually today with the platform, right, and then the evolving of influencers, we are talking a lot in terms of how to leverage the influencer to creating trend. But actually for me, a campaign, if just we relying on influencer impact, it's not easier to creating trend. But we have to, like you say, move, make the consumers really move, and then they understand it, they resonate with what we are doing, and then they automatically join what we are doing. So then it's creating very authentic virality. It's not like just, okay, relating on 100 KOLs, 200 KOLs. So actually it's kind of creating trend with that. Yeah.
Yeah, so a point to note here is brands are always greedy. Remember that. But they need to be. Otherwise, how do they sustain the business? In order to be able to connect to the consumer, it is the emotion that drives it. And I think Neil's point is the storytelling. And that's actually the purpose of doing this is, I think with all the technology and data that is available to everybody, there is no difference. Two competing brands will have access to the same data and same technology. So where's the differentiation? How do you create the differentiation to your brand, to your campaign? And that's where creativity becomes that much more important. And even more important is the creator economy that supports it. And I think the point that was being made was the outcome. If you start with the outcome, it's really important. So I'm going to build on that. If it is really the outcome that you're looking at from a consumer, either it's purchase, engagement, conversion, whatever the outcome is, does technology support that?
I think technology, especially around like AI technology, if you are honest at the start and you understand what you want the outcomes to be and you know how the platforms will work with your idea, then I think using technology is a great way to, like AI, to multiply the amount of assets. But if you're not specific on what you want the outcome to be and the activity you want the consumer to do, you're just making AI slop. You're making multiple versions of the same thing without a direction. So I think once you define what you want to do and the outcomes, then using technology is a great way to do that. But when it comes to storytelling, I think what a lot of brands get stuck on is, I'm a brand, what story do I have to tell to sell an RT, like a ready-to-drink or a confectionery item? That's where creators can help with storytelling, because by briefing a creator or giving the creator a product and a message and the outcome of what you want to happen, let the creators tell the story for you. Like, let the creators come up with their concept that tells a story from their own perspective, because they know their audience. They know what works. They know what feels organic. They know what is going to have the outcome you want. So when it comes to storytelling, work with the creators. Don't think of creators as distribution. Think of creators as the creativity and the storytelling, because they're creators and they built their audience from connection and their own storytelling. So leverage that. That should be what you're looking for with creators, is, can this creator tell a story? Can this creator achieve the outcome I want and the audience action and outcome? And if they can, pay them.
From a platform perspective, Lou, technology is the key driver for the success of the platform. But that doesn't mean anything if there is no advertising on top of it, because it's costly, it's effective. How does that balance happen of enabling advertising yet maintaining the technology edge? Is there a silver bullet there?
So, in terms of technology, recently there's a lot of saying about, with the rises of AI, the roles of marketer is going to be diminished, right? So there's a lot of conversations about that. But as a people working in tech, in the as a person working in tech industry, I disagree with that. So marketer is still going to be the south of the campaign. And technology as well as AI is just going to be the catalyst for whatever is going to happen, in the next upcoming campaign. Um, to me, is going to be the one of the driver, the pushes, the propeller for the campaign rather than replacing the roles of the marketer. So to your earlier question, there was actually a campaign 5 years ago where we did together with Unilever on the Mother's Day, in which Unilever is actually leveraging the social listening as well as AI technology to kind of like catches what are the wishes of the mothers during the Mother's Day. And they create kind of like a war room in which they are going to personalize different creative messages in just one single day for Mother Day and is going to spread it. So the conductor of the campaign is still the creative agency, is still the brand, but the technology make it a lot easier for the brands and for the marketer to execute the campaign with all the high-tech tools like social listening, personalization at scale, and also distribution of the campaign via a very robust media strategy to make sure that the campaign and the message is being heard across different audiences in just one single day. So that is how the synchronize between marketers, big campaign idea, technology, and also advertising is working well together to build an orchestration for a successful campaign.
Yeah, go
Wanted to
ahead.
add, if you look at technology, and even if you look at AI, how are agencies and marketers using it? They are using it to cut costs. They are using it to fire people. They are not using it to tell stories. They're not using it to kind of tell compelling kind of arguments to the consumer on why they should purchase their brands. So the way we are using these technologies are completely for the wrong motives. Big agencies, network agencies, they're using it to fire people. Clients are using it to cut costs, putting more money into media, taking money out of creating the work. That's a big, big problem which is happening in this industry as well. And I feel the way we are using the technology is completely wrong. Rather than empowering stories, we are using the technology to cut costs. We are using it to fire people. And that's, I think, the danger of if we go more and more into the power of AI and we go more and more into this, I think we are running really fast into a wall. And you're going to see this kind of becoming and explode in the next few years if we don't stop it now.
I think for me, AI actually does help a lot in terms of like, if we're talking about marketing, right? It's really accelerate the speed, like the production. Before, we also take some time. So today is like a day, even very, very much shorter. And then they can produce a lot of version with like news, say, very efficient in terms of cost. However, I think to me, AI is just like the mirror, what we are doing, right? So it cannot really, not just like magically give you better idea, a successful ideas, like crack the insights or, great ideas. It's just like for us to see whether our strategy is strong or not, to reflecting on that, or it's helping us to accelerate our strategies, our assumption. So actually, we need to know where and to use AI to make our idea to be better, faster. But it doesn't really just come in and then help you to have a great story to connect with consumers because AI cannot really have the empathy. And then that is why we are still here to do the job because AI today is still, and anything, they can do a lot, but actually how to connect with consumers is really a human responsibility. Yeah.
I think it's a very fair point that technology is an enabler, but at the end of the day, if there's something that we've learned in advertising, is the emotion. The consumer connects because of the emotion to your ad, to your brand. It's not because of the technology. And technology, being an enabler, can only enhance that. But it's coming back to the point of storytelling and creativity. If there is no real story or no real idea built on insights or strategy, no technology can help build that emotion. And to that point, there was something that we spoke about earlier, which is the trend and making sure that we are able to follow some of those aspects. My question to the panel is, as we move forward from here in 2026, I'm not talking about next 5 years, I'm not talking about next 10 years, next 6 months, what is it that you would want to see change in your organization or in your workspace that we think we can bring storytelling back to advertising? Because at the end of the day, no advertising sells without emotion, without stories. What is it that we can do as an industry, as a collective, as an alliance, to bring that back? If there's one nugget of advice that you would like to give to everybody.
I think we need to get out of our offices and meet people and stop spending so much time on our screens ourselves. The creative people in an agency, the planners, the clients, we need to go out there, talk to real people. That's not happening anymore. We've just made everybody a number. We look at consumers as just people who behave in a certain way. We don't go and inquire why they are doing what they are doing. I think it's going to be much more important for marketers and agency people to not stay in office and spend more time traveling, going out there, meeting people. And that was a big culture when we started off in communication. And you can almost see it gone now, where people just get data readily on a computer. They look at people as numbers, and they kind of then come up with stories which are, again, garbage. And I think that has to change now. We need to go out there. I think if your team is spending more time outside office, which can also sometimes be bad, because then they're not working, but I think that's a good thing. If they're sitting in a coffee shop, if they're going, watching a movie, interacting with people, I think they can come up with much better stuff than all the garbage that you kind of see. And of course, we are an agency, we also produce a lot of garbage, so I'm not just blaming other people on that, but that needs to stop.
Yeah, I think from me, because like when we work as a marketers, right, we mostly upset with KPIs. But I think the advice or something that I really want to change actually also for my team is like instead of just looking to purely on a KPIs, for example, we starting a campaign. Okay, I need to reach 20 million impression kind of. We will start to get the ambition what we want to change for the consumers with this campaign. So I think that would be more powerful than just the KPI in terms of media to starting with. Yeah.
I think I'm with you on that in terms of connecting to consumer. So prior to a person who working in technology, I also am the brand builder as well. So back there when I was with Unilever, one of the things we need to do kind of like every month is go out in the trade visit and meet consumer and talk to all of the street vendor who are currently selling our product and get ideas out of that. So we're also expecting creative agency to have that kind of like the same sympathy, deep resonance with consumer as well, so that they can come up with a great idea and insightful campaign strategy. And stop chasing chance is the second thing that I would like to also highlight. Prior to your questions, stop thinking about what is going to be the next in the trend leaderboard. Start thinking about how can we really build deep connection with the consumer via insight, and then all of the success of the campaign is going to come from time to time. One of the campaign that I feel really impressed recently, and I'm pretty sure that the team there has also had already gone out and also connected with the consumer a lot in order to come up with such a beautiful creative idea, is the Grab Vietnam campaign. So 10-year breathing the same breath with Vietnam. They come up with a campaign where they have different kind of like stories and different platform, but each of the story is very unique and very personalized to different stakeholder of Grab, whether it's going to be a bike driver, whether it's the street vendor, whether it's the consumer who ordering food on Grab Food. And I think such kind of beautiful, insightful campaign is what we want to see more in the future, and it can only come out of a deep engagement and a real understanding of what is the pain point of the consumer and the audiences and how the brand is currently resolving it. So from time to time in the next 5 years, I want marketer to stop thinking a lot about platform, stop being obsessed with technology, and start talking more to human to get that kind of deep resonance.
From like the creator side is for brands and marketers to start involving creators early. Again, not thinking about creators as distribution, but think about creators as part of the creative process. Bringing creators in early to help you ideate, to adapt your objectives into content that will work on their platform. Don't tell creators 50 things that are interesting about your brand. Don't tell them exactly what to do. Don't write them a script. And don't give a brief that is 6 pages long. If you do that, go and do a TVC. Don't work with creators.
So we are not chasing trends. Someone would argue, what's the point of social listening if we are not going to chase trends? Is social listening important in the era of storytelling?
100%. Like, if your storytelling only works if it makes sense to the people who are watching it. Like, an insight, like the reason we all use insights is because we want to find a way to connect with the viewer or the user. So the storytelling has to be relevant to the audience. Otherwise, they're not going to engage with the story. So more often than not, you're going to need to have a strong insight and a reason for people to watch and engage. Otherwise, if it's not relevant to me, it's not going to show up in my algorithm and it's not going to get seen.
I think social listening, everyone has the same data. Now, why are people behaving in a certain way? No one spends time on that. So everyone takes social listening data and just directly thinks of something on that. There is no understanding on why people are doing that. There is no soul searching on why people are doing that. There is no brand point of view that perhaps people are doing this and it's wrong. And maybe as a brand, we should tell people to stop doing this. So what is happening with social listening data? Everyone has the same social listening data. It's like monkeys with a sword, and everyone's just swinging their swords wildly. So I think social listening data is important, but I think social listening data has made people extremely lazy, where they write something on a slide and they believe it's an insight because they have not investigated why people are behaving the way they are behaving. And you will find out that whatever the social listening data becomes, if you find out why people are doing what they are doing, and can your brand make an impact in that why, or encourage that why, or perhaps tell them not to do that, and maybe it's harmful for them, who knows? I think you can then kind of take that one leap ahead rather than just listening to what's happening out there and just reacting. I think that's the problem.
So there's no investment of time to understand that social listening
And there
data.
is no time because there is a social listening data, and you go into creative right after that. Boom, you brief a creator and you want something done in one day. So we are so desperate to get things out fast and win some race that we are running, is that there is no kind of pause to reflect on what we are doing as a brand as well.
So Chi, as a brand owner, how much does it concern you to involve the creator economy when it comes to brand safety, brand guidelines, etc., etc.? Is that critical if you are looking at an ecosystem to help build your brand? How critical is it, and what's the right balance of letting go?
Yeah, so actually, of course, when we move into digital channels, right, the brand safety is also one of the concerns of brand. Yeah, but of course, we understand in order to make our message spread across the channels, we also need to be flexibility, understanding what are the freedoms, so the creators or the creative can have the freedom within the framework. Of course, if it's really beyond our brand safety, this is a no-no. But actually, we cannot like give the guideline of, okay, you need to, like Alex mentioned, you need to follow, this is the brief, this is what we want the creator to tell, then there's no creativity. So actually, we need to give the flexibility. For example, we would to know for TikTok, it's not about very polished as the brand's guideline on logo or the products there, but it's more on the authenticity and the storytelling need to click with the consumers where they are on TikTok. But then I want to mention about when you say it's actually only catching up with the trend, we can creating the virality, but it doesn't really mean that. For example, like our Tết campaign, right? Actually, it's not about catching trend, but we know the inside, like consumers, when they, for beverage, when they go into Tết, this is the inside that they want to pick some things really premium, some things really, nice to give into their families or worship. So that's why, it's not just creating a trend, but we know what are the consumer need to creating the trend. Yeah. And then it just naturally comes.
I just want to make one quick point. I think brands need to have a long-term relationship with creators and not look at them as short-term.
Tactical.
So you need to look at them as brand ambassadors. You need to have a long-term relationship with creators and perhaps work with fewer creators which are perfect for your brand, and then trust them rather than this one-size-fits-all, I want 20,000 people creating content for me. So be selective, work with creators for almost bet on the creator you think is going to kind of make an impact, and work with them as brand ambassadors. You don't change your brand ambassador every month. Why do you change your creators every campaign? I think that's a big question that everyone needs to kind of work on with creators.
Great. So our time's up. I didn't realize there was no notice. So thank you so much for your time. I'll try and summarize this in a couple of sentences. Don't be lazy. Go out, meet people. We need to get more of the human connection going in the age of technology and in the age of data. And I think that has to be started and should be always based on insight and based on some story that you can connect with the consumers. There is a new economy that's coming up, the creator economy. Give them that leeway to be your ambassadors. If you don't, you will be left out, is my view, personal view. With that, thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Rohit Datwal. Thank you to our panelists. Once again, please one step forward so you can accept our appreciation token from the MMA representative. Thank you so much for your time, for your insights, and for a very fruitful conversations. Ladies and gentlemen, a bigger round of applause for our moderator and for our panelists today.